Are you stuck in a fast food line behind a sweet and sour, condiment packed, picky, complaining customer? There is a less stressful way to get a bite to eat without going to Burger King, McDonald's, or In-N-Out the emergency room burger. Decide to skip the line, and you skip the clogged arteries. Realistically, we pass grocery stores on the way home each day, so why not stop in and pick up a couple of items for dinner? You'll save your money and your health as a consequence. This is The Man's Kitchen. Hello and welcome to the third season of The Man's Kitchen. If you didn't originally see the original Man's Kitchen a couple of years ago, it's because it was folded into the show, the early morning show. So back then, the early morning show went about 30 minutes. And then we ultimately chopped up all of those shows into separate shows. So now we're back in The Man's Kitchen. And today we're doing roast beef and cheddar. You can go to a place like Arby's or something place like that, but it won't taste the same. So what I suggest, if you want to do roast beef and cheddar, do not go in that package section of the store to get that roast beef package and then the cheddar cheese package. That stuff is junk. It's been at the warehouse and it went to a massive factory before they did it. Try to get some roast beef from a company like Dietz & Watson, Boar's Head, or somebody like that. You need to go over to the deli section of your local grocery store. So in every real grocery store that's not a mom and pop, they have what's called a deli section. In that deli section, they can shave the meat off for you. Today, we're going to be using some fresh roast beef. So that has been sliced from Dietz & Watson, and it's been sliced thin. So this kind of quality, you want to be able to get that at your local Arby's. And a real nice roast beef is a roast beef that's red in color like that. That's sort of blood red. It's not raw, but that has been cured that way. And we got some real Swiss cheese, see, nice and thin. And that is real tasty Swiss cheese, not the junk you get in the package. So with that today, we're going to do with some nice bun-like biblio bread. And I've already had those buttered front and back. So they're buttered front and back, and we're going to cut those in half with a bread knife. And you want to use a bread knife or something like that, because if you don't, and see, a bread knife has what's known as serrated edges. So this knife has serrated edges on it, as opposed to just a traditional knife, which is a flat edge, that would mash the bread. We don't want to mash the bread. You want to go ahead and serrate the bread and cut it that way. And to that pairing, we're going to have today some French fries. We're going to start the French fries first. Those are the seasoned fries that you can get at your local grocery store. And you want to be able to get those fresh. You can make them yourself if you want to go to the old type restaurant style, but just get them frozen. So I got these already frozen. We want to get an aluminum pan that we're going to put those on. Okay? I've already got the oven preset at 350 degrees, or if the package says 375 or higher, just do that. Now, to that, we're going to use some what's called cooking paper. A lot of people use cooking paper when you're doing like pastries, breads, something like that. In this situation, it's easy for the fries not to get stuck to the pan, and you don't have a big greasy cleanup when you're finished. So you put that on the pan. It's made to fit the pan exactly. You don't have to worry about it. So it comes in a square inside that box. You can get it at your grocery section, or you can get it on a sheet and just cut it off. But in this case, like I said, you open it up, you put it on there. We got the fries. We go ahead and lay those out. Not much to it. Make sure that they're spread evenly so that they cook evenly. And we go ahead and put those in the oven. And we'll let those go approximately 35 to 45 minutes. It depends on how you like fries, either soft or you like them crispy. Follow the package, whatever they tell you, you do that. In the meantime, we're going to let that go ahead and catch up. So we're not going to start the sandwich yet because the sandwich will be done before the fries. So we come back in a minute and we'll catch up. But before we do, let me show you where we have the pan. Inside the pan, I've already buttered that pan, just like I buttered the bread. Because what's going to happen is when we slice the bread in half, we're going to go ahead and put the meat on that, the roast beef. Then we're going to put the cheddar. And then we're going to put sauces together. So we're going to make our own sauces. You don't have to buy something from the store pre-made. You can make your own sauce. So what we're going to do today, we're going to mix a little bit of mustard, about a tablespoon of mustard. We're going to mix about the same equal portion of Worcestershire sauce, and that's about a tablespoon. We're going to get some either Texas Pete or Red Hot sauce. Remember, I put that shit on anything. And we're going to have some sandwich spread. Sandwich spread is like mayo, but with flavoring to this. So it's already like pre-seasoned. You mix all of those together, and we can spread that on the sandwich before we mash it together with the bread. Then you can toast that with those flavors in there, top then bottom, and you have a great flavor, just like you get at any kind of firehouse subs. Now, right here I have a brick. So you can have a weight at the house, a metal weight. You could have a heavy dish, anything where you won't burn yourself. But in this case, I've wrapped a brick in aluminum foil. So that's going to supply plenty of weight on top of that bread to get the pressure down so that he can go from the bottom of that bread through the top. Now make sure that the brick is either washed and cleaned first. So you could wash it like in a bucket of water with a little bit of bleach in it. Make sure you got any impurities off of that brick. Let it dry out, then wrap it up. And what we're going to do to mix all that stuff together, let it melt together, we need something to drink. So when you're doing a roast beef and cheddar, if you go out to a restaurant, or suggested by the people who are good at beers, that you try to use a stout or what's called a darker beer for that particular sandwich. So in this case, we're going to use the Guinness Extra Stout. So when that's ready, that's what we're going to pour up. And I've already got the great big mug that I love to drink out of with a nice big supporting handle there. We're going to do that this afternoon. Now you can do that for yourself, or you can invite somebody over, whether it's a date, whether it's a buddy. I always suggest this on a man's kitchen. Why? Because most of us, whether it's guys or girls, we only cook for other people. You notice when you bring people over to your house, that's when you start washing up your house, you get the maid service to do it, you do the laundry, the curtains, the whole thing, but for yourself, you won't do anything. That's why we go to drive-thrus to eat, because we won't take care of ourselves. So we have other people take care of us. So way before you get a date, way before you get married, way before you invite your family over for the holidays, do it for yourself. And if not, through these videos to learn a process, you can learn to show them how you do it, and they will wonder, where did you learn how to do that, right? So we'll be back in just a minute. Don't go nowhere.
You're watching M&N, the Men's Channel.
Okay, and we're back. Through the magic of television, we can go ahead and start the oven, because those fries are done, but we leave them in there to stay warm. And what I want to tell you guys a minute ago, the purpose of the man's kitchen is to make sure you eat at home, eat healthy. Whatever you pay for out there, you get it for a tenth of the price at the house. And here's the biggest reason. Have you ever went to McDonald's and seen the CEO sitting at McDonald's in any state you name? No. Have you ever went to Outback and seen that CEO of Outback eating there? Eat where the people who run the restaurant eat. They eat at the house. Or a better restaurant. Don't eat where they don't eat. Now, let's go on into it. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go ahead and use a serrated knife like I told you before. We're going to cut the bread. Not cutting our hands, but cut it right down the middle. That's one. And the other. Down the middle. And it always makes all that bread tasty, crumbling. So there's nothing wrong with that. Food does not look pretty. Mainly, it's to eat. So now, what we want to do, like I said before, I'm going to go ahead and prepare those sauces. So, we're going to go ahead, that's the sandwich spread right there. We're going to add the red hot sauce into that. We're going to add the tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce to that. And finally, the mustard. You can use Goldens, you can use any type of yellow mustard. If you got a little bit of class that you believe, you might use that Dijon's mustard. It's more spicy and it has real mustard in it. You can definitely tell the difference between a real mustard and just that yellow Goldens type mustard. If you go overseas, like I've been, most foreign countries will tell you that we don't have mustard. Like when you see like a Dijon mustard, those little black dots, those are mustard seeds. So if you can't see mustard seeds inside your mustard, it might just be mustard flavoring with sugar, not real mustard. Alright, so I mixed all those up and you have that tight color there. And just give it a test. Back side of a spoon. Woo! That's pretty good. Now I'll go ahead and assemble a sandwich, but at the same time, I want to turn that pan there and get it nice and hot. Because the first thing we're going to do is sear the bottom of the bread. So after we go ahead and form the sandwich, we want to sear the bottom, put the weight on it, and then flip it over and sear the opposite side. Now the main thing to do is we're going to have the cheese on the bottom so the cheese melts first. While I'm thinking about it, let's have a little bit of beer. Excuse me a minute. Alrighty. Now, if you guys watched The Man's Bartender, you remember when I said quite a ways back, when you are pouring a beer, and you want a nice head on that beer, then you want to pour the beer in, which about a 70% weighs of the glass. So that's about 70% of the way to the top. Where are my fingers pointing? 70% up is where you want to start pouring, okay? At an angle, and then the closer you get to the top, level it out. And that should give you a nice head on the beer. So something like this. Get close to the top, and you can start to raise it. And that would give you a nice head. Once it settles, you got nothing but head right there now, but that's how you generate a head on a beer. And in a minute, I'm going to get a little bit taste of it. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and assemble a sandwich. We want to start first with the 2 pieces of real Swiss cheese, and they've nice and sweated at room temperature. Alright. So we put those 2 pieces on the bottom. And we want them on the sandwich and not where they're going to be on the pan. And we can actually put those right in there. That's the bottom as well. We put the cheese on that. So inside of our pan, it looks just like that. Okay? And to that, we go ahead and add 2 full slices of that roast beef. Roast beef, there's a smell in it. Peppery smell to that you can't get from that packaged junk. Make sure those are on the sandwich and not on the pan because we don't want to burn those and we don't want to dry it out. Roast beef is not good if it's dried out. Okay, so I got those. That's on the first sandwich. Here's on the second. And look at the stringiness of that roast beef. Alright, so we're not decorating a Christmas gift. We're just doing the roast beef. There we are. The last piece. If it's just roast beef, when you finish, you'll see the same type of red on the plate as if it's a blood, but it's actually the meat. Now to that, we're going to go ahead, going to put that nice tangy sauce on there liberally on both of them. Okay. Done with that. We'll go ahead and put the top on one and then the other. We'll put them right close together so it will look just like that. And we'll go ahead from there and we'll put the brick on it. Okay, now once we have that meat and the lid's on, we put the brick on top of that. And you see how it adds weight to that bread. Now I can actually, at this point, I can actually put a little bit of pressure down on that. We'll turn on the fan. That will just take some of that smoke out. Now, you want to leave that on there just a little bit until the cheese go ahead and melt. Maybe 45 seconds up to a minute, no longer. We're not trying to burn it, we're just trying to brown it. Okay, so I put the pressure on that. And I'm confident that that's done. At this time, I'll go ahead and I'll flip that over. And we'll put the brick back on that. We turn the heat down just a little bit because the other side is done. While I'm waiting, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and we'll pull the fries out. Fries are done. You never want to touch that with your hand as long as you're alive. Put just a few of those on the plate. Okay, we can move that brick to another side so it flattens that out. Get us extra stout. Here's to you guys. That'll take the wrinkle out of your forehead. Okay, so move it to the other side. So the whole sandwich, when it's going to apply to that, I can actually go ahead and turn off the heat now. The smoke won't bother that one bit. It's nice and flat the way you would get it at a firehouse sub. But for all intents and purposes, that sandwich is done. We'll go ahead and take it off of the fire, move the brick off of that. Now, you can see it didn't take but a few minutes to do the whole entire meal after the fries. Alright, so put the extra one there. We put the other one here. Doesn't matter which side I have up. But that is how that sandwich looks. Nice, flat, and toasted. We'll go ahead and cut it for you. Move it out of the way. And if you wanted to, during the cooking process, before you assemble the sandwich, you could put salt and pepper on it. I didn't think it was necessary. So put that sandwich there. And go ahead and cut it on the bias. Put it back on the plate. Move that off the fire. Give her a try. Beautiful. There's a crunch of the bread. You can taste the roast beef. It's done, but it's not dried out. The sauce, the cheese where it works with it. There's the fries. Like I say, you get this entire dish. Wouldn't cost you any more than $10 at the max. If you buy yourself, we got 2 sandwiches off of it. With a friend or date or wife, you got a whole meal. Fast food would have cost you $15 to $30. Come back and see us again next time on The Man's Kitchen and enjoy the sandwich and a little stout beer on your own time. We'll see you again then. Bye-bye.